Hey everyone, welcome back to Pretending with Dice. As always, I'm your host and game master, AJ. Just a couple of announcements before we get into today's episode. First up, I mentioned it last time, but just another reminder, we'll be attending our first ever con at the start of December. We'll be at Dragon Meet 2017 as part of their podcast zone, and that's on Saturday, December the 2nd. Head on over to dragonmeet.co.uk for tickets and more details. It'd be super awesome to see a bunch of you there, so come along and say hi. Jason and I will be there all day, so yeah, come along. Secondly, the very first episode of the D20 Summit podcast goes live this week. It's an awesome roundtable discussion podcast between DMs and players from a bunch of your favourite RPG podcasts, and we were honoured to have been asked to take part. Head on over to at D20 Summit on Twitter for more details on that. Okay then. Today's episode, we're finally getting to play the excellent Star Trek adventures from Modiphius Games with our friends from the Spocklight podcast, Liam, Matt and Paul. Those of you who tuned in last time will have heard the guys creating their characters, and this time you get to hear them all in action. A final little side note, we actually recorded this a couple of weeks before the premiere of Star Trek Discovery, so any similarities to any plot or character elements in that is 100% accidental. It doesn't really apply too much to this first part, but I don't mind saying that when Discovery started and we all watched it, there were a couple of exchange messages of, this is all seeming a little familiar. I guess the takeaway is maybe we should have been hired to write Discovery or something, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, we hope you all enjoy this crossover. We had a ton of fun getting to play the game and record it all for you. So yeah, let's get to it. Okay, here we are to play Star Trek Adventures. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves and the characters you're going to be playing?
We'll start with the most important first, that's me, Dr. Ferrero Rocher. I don't know if the Doctor was actually part of this whole setup, but...
Well, he's a scientist, isn't he? Yeah.
So you just assume he's smart.
Back off, man, I'm a scientist.
I know, it's amazing similarities between me and this character, but...
What's your position on the ship?
I am science officer.
You're the science officer.
Yeah.
You're the
USS Aristotle.
You are the Spock of this crew.
And yeah, named after the show mascot on Spocklight.
Yeah.
Who now is residing with the school. He's left us.
Oh, he left you now?
Yeah, his term has started and he's left us.
So I'm Matt, and my character is Orson Esno. Now this name, I had a bit of help from my housemate coming up with the name. We were trying to go through all these different possibilities, and Orson means bear cub, and Esno means to walk alone in Native American, I believe.
I thought Orson had a fat thumb right there.
That as well. So
I was going to say a bit of an Orson Welles thing going on there.
I think Orson Welles came up when we were looking up all the meanings of Orson, how it fit to him as well. He's very much a bear. But it kind of fits with me, so I'm a flight control officer. And I was born on Earth but raised on Vulcan, so we'll see how two sides of me break out.
Hi, my name's Liam. I'm playing First Officer Kane McCarthy. I'm a human from Wolverhampton. My name, Kane McCarthy, was created by friend of our show, Spocklight, Eleanor, who's a previously guest on the show, also known as Woman Watches Film. Okay,
so now you guys have met our crew for this this short story we'll be playing through. Let's jump into it. Captain's Log, Stardate 58672.3. Our month-long patrol of the Klingon Neutral Zone border has been without incident, although per Starfleet's instructions we are keeping a close watch for any activity. In recent weeks, following the incident involving Admiral Kirk in the regular system, Starfleet has received several strong protests from the Klingon Empire, and tensions are high. The crew of the Aristotle continues to perform admirably under this stress, however. My first officer, Commander McCarthy, remains a strong voice on the bridge. Our Chief Science Officer, Lieutenant Commander Roche, is a frequent verbal sparring partner of his, but I believe that they're shaping up into a good team. At our last scheduled stop-off at Starbase 21, we took on several new crew members who I have not had the chance to get to know very well so far, although I hope to change that. Our new helmsman, Ensign Ejno, is second to none, despite being practically fresh from the academy. We are also now joined on the bridge by Lieutenant Sorek, our Vulcan Communications Officer. I'm confident they will both fit in well on the Aristotle. We join you guys on the bridge. Captain Page is in his ready room. Commander McCarthy commanding. It's been an uneventful day so far, the shift. Who wants to be on the bridge with him? I'm presuming you're on the helm and that? Yeah.
Flying.
Okay. Are you on the bridge?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. But you're fully in the chair.
You're stood behind the chair, glowering.
Yeah.
Leaning in there. Okay. Okay, as I say, it's been an uneventful shift thus far. You've been patrolling an area just outside the Klingon Neutral Zone. It's been quite a quiet month actually, even though, as I said in the captain's log, tensions are high generally.
I think things are going to kick off. I'm very perceptive. You're about an hour and a half into this shift rotation when there is a loud pinging sound from the sensor console, and the communications officer, Lieutenant Sorek, speaks up, says, "Commander, I'm receiving an incoming transmission."
On the screen.
She presses a couple of keys on the communications console and
Faster.
she presses them in a much faster pattern, and on screen appears a fuzzy, looks like it's kind of breaking up transmission, what looks to be a human male.
Looks like a human male, Captain.
Excellent observation skills, Esno.
You are Captain, right?
A commander.
Commander, yeah, what do I call you?
You can call me Captain, Orson.
I'm new here, okay.
It's fine.
Mister.
It's my first
To
day.
you, I am Captain.
Don't feed his ego.
My ego points just went up to 10.
On screen there is a man who looks pretty kind of bedraggled and sort of stressed out. In the background, through the static, you can see what looks to be sparks flying from consoles on the wall and that, and he says, the audio then fades in at that point and says, "Repeat, this is Captain Rana of USS Pelican. We are under attack by an unknown ship. Please respond."
Open hailing frequencies.
Sorek presses another couple of keys on that and then gives you the nod that the channel is now open.
You were under attack, weren't you? Is that what you said?
Yeah, under attack from an unknown ship.
That was nice.
Oh, is that's your low-key way of answering the thing? No announcing the...
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Commander McCarthy, I'm very impressed with the gentle way you answer these.
You're right.
This is Captain K. McCarthy. Quiet, all of you. It's them, I am Captain. This is Captain K. McCarthy of the USS Aristotle. What can we do to help? Anything? No? You're probably alright on your own, aren't you? We're quite busy, actually.
There's a kind of pause on the other end of the transmission, and the Captain Rana...
Date tonight.
No, Captain Rana's on the other side. He kind of pauses for a second. He's sort of, as if he's sort of squinting at his own screen, says, "Captain McCarthy, is it? Please help. We're only a transport ship. We cannot survive much longer under this assault."
Haven't you got any phasers?
No, we are only a Antares class transport. We don't carry much armament.
Well, it's hardly my fault, is it? Did you ever think about the fact that maybe I had some plans tonight before you called in with this distress call? I'm very busy.
Are you not a Starfleet vessel?
I think we should go and help. Let's go maximum warp. What do you say, Esno?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
O'Shea, I've had enough of your insubordinate.
That's you and I agree.
This is the one scene game where it's just
Very well. We're coming to help. Don't worry. We'll be there in 5.
Esno sticks in some coordinates and hits the thing.
Sure, you may need to make a check to see if you can go to warp properly.
This is my first time out the gate, lads.
Let's see if we can roll this.
It should be an easy one. It's just like there's a possibility that because you're pretty skilled in it, you could generate some momentum.
That's good.
Sorry, can't go to warp. We're going to have to leave you behind.
I'm working on it, sir.
Let's just say make a. This would be a control con check. It's only going to be difficulty 1, so roll your 2 dice and.
Okay, control con together is 11.
11.
That's way more than 11.
Okay.
37.
What did each of the dice say?
It's a 20 and a 17.
Okay, that's not good.
Okay. Okay, wait.
You need to go back to the academy, Enzo.
Hey, I am. I'm getting there.
Okay, so the 20 gives you what's called a complication.
Okay.
So you can choose to succeed. We'll call this. This is the first introduction of the idea of momentum and threat. You can still choose to succeed, but I would gain a threat point.
Mm-hmm.
The complication is that maybe you push the engines a little bit too hard, which may come back later on to haunt you guys. We'll see how that goes. Okay, but do you want to do that? Choose to succeed at cost?
Yeah, we can handle with compromised engines, right? We'll fix it later.
We'll fix it later?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the ship. This isn't the smoothest transition to warp you've ever made. The ship, if anything, feels like it jumps suddenly and it's not a full-on like ship is hit and you're flying across the bridge stumbling around, but it's definitely not the smooth transition to warp that a lot of you are used to.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
So the ship transitions to warp.
If you disengage the initial dampness.
A couple of seconds pass and there's a beeping on the comm console and the angry sounding voice comes from the comm by your chair. Commander McCarthy says, "I don't know what's going on up there, but you lot have just nearly blown out our whole wall coil."
Blame Mr. Esno for that. It's nothing to do with me.
Okay, so the voice continues.
Well, Mr. Esno can come down here and help me fix the bloody thing. Zolok's out.
I've just sat down. Just warming the seat.
It's my first day.
It's my first day.
So get those legs are moving. Down to engineering with you.
Yeah. Oh, not this second. I mean, it's kind of like it's a threat of like later on he can help you.
All right.
Don't go yet.
I'll change my shirt later on to make sure I'm wearing yellow or something.
Yeah. Oh, I've rearranged your shift patterns. You'd be able some time in engineering.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. So the distress call is coming from pretty much the same star system that you're just passing anyway. At warp 7, it would take you half an hour to get there. Warp 9, 5 minutes. What warp factor are you choosing to go for? How urgent are you feeling this? I mean, you've got your date coming up tonight, apparently.
What's the highest warp factor we can go?
You can go warp 9, but it will really strain the engines, which are already under strain.
Warp 9.
Warp 9.
Do you think that's wise?
Maybe not. But I don't care.
Putting a lot on me today.
Disagree with this. I believe we should compromise to go with maybe an 8.
What's the middle?
I mean, you could go at warp 1 and it would take you maybe 9 months to get there.
Yeah. 9 months.
Oh, we ain't
Warp 1 is just light speed.
Yeah, just light speed. Oh.
Yeah.
Slow poke.
9. All right. The ship struggles to reach warp 9 with the 20 that you rolled earlier.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. It's you do make it there though. It takes roughly 5 to 10 minutes to get across the system to get there at this speed. Arriving though, you find no sign of an attacking vessel, but drifting in space, kind of just slowly rotating along its kind of axis, is a damaged-looking Antares type freighter. The
Life forms.
scanning for life forms.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So make a. This would be I think a reason science check.
Reason 11.
And okay, so here's where the cool thing comes in. Because you're on the ship and you're using the ship sensors, another one of you can also roll another dice using the ship's stats. So, Paul, if you roll your 2 dice for your check,
Any colours?
yep, any in the 20s, and
Yeah.
any one of the other ones of you can use a sensors engineering check using that you need to get below 10 on.
There are 2 of these.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm
Oh no, just the one as the ship. The ship kind of assisting, essentially.
Okay, so we throw them at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got 34, and that I had a.
Is that a 14 and a 20?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. What was your...
My combined thing was 17.
17. Okay, so that's 1 success from yours. You count the dice separately, you don't add them together. It's just you get 2 chances to get a success, essentially.
I'll get one of them, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a 12.
A 12. So the ship sensors aren't particularly helpful in this case. They're working. You do get the 1 success.
Yeah.
But that 20 is going to come back and haunt again. That's another sort of critical fail. You guys are.
If this was D&D,
If this was D&D, you guys would be rolling really high and great.
20s
But yeah.
Well, the Aristotle's a new ship, and it hasn't been quite broken in yet.
Yeah, it's just been refitted. The systems are still on their first shakedown.
I wish I'd been assigned to the Enterprise.
They turned down your transfer request.
Well, you're the Aristotle now, so you better buck up your ideas.
He's the real man around here.
Yeah.
Who's captain of the Enterprise at this?
This would be Kirk. This is, although no,
Captain Spock.
is anyone the captain of the Enterprise?
Yeah, Captain Spock, because he's at the training.
He's dead at this point.
Well, okay, so then it's kind of like nobody's really captain. Yeah, right.
Yeah, we're kind of in limbo. We're pretty much as Search for Spock.
Shit old banger.
Yes, Search for Spock is basically happening concurrent with this.
see.
Yeah.
Like,
Search the spot.
So you'd rather
Yeah.
be here than that, basically, if you're reviewing that film.
Yeah.
yeah.
Already.
I know where I want to be, and it's the Aristotle.
That's right. This is right.
Don't wanna get
I like
in-
you, Fresno.
Yeah.
Fresno.
Okay, so the sensors kind of glitch out on you, but you do sort of get them working. You can't detect any life forms on board the ship. The sensors do pick up what seems to be some damage on the exterior, though.
Can we see what kind of damage from here?
We'd need to have another sensors check
But we know that
for
we're
this.
just-
A more focused kind of checking for exterior hull damage check rather than just a general life forms check would be different from a damage check.
Are the shields down?
The shields do appear to be down. I'm not going to have you roll for that because that's just general.
But we could beam aboard and take a visual check of it.
If you like.
Are you volunteering for ROI?
Well, no, I thought we could just send somebody along. I'm happy here in the med bay.
Why do I sense by somebody? You mean me?
Well, it's a chance for you to atone for your poor driving.
At this point, Captain Page walks in from his ready room and says, right, report.
Sir! There's a ship over there. We're thinking about going on it or something.
Feel like going into any more details there, Commander?
It's damaged. They put out a distress call, but it's probably not worth worrying about, so... I expect you want us to turn around and go home.
That's not really the attitude, is it, McCarthy?
Maybe not.
Very well.
It's like almost destroyed the front.
I'm bloody rat.
Like immediately turning on each other.
He called himself captain.
Well, I think, we probably should take that narrow beam sensor sweep to see what the hull damage is.
He's talking.
Very well. Go ahead.
Okay.
Basically, if you want to do that, make the same check again. So this would be a reason. I guess it would be more of an engineering check if you're looking for damage.
Well,
Yes.
I can map
So
it then.
reason engineering. Although you're running the sensors, so it's up to you.
Okay. Can I delegate that off to him?
You can do if you want.
Okay,
So calling him over from the from the helm.
Would you be okay to just run this check for us?
Yes, sir.
I've forgotten how to do it.
Okay. So somebody else could again roll another one and try and get under 10 for the ship's.
Okay.
So
Okay.
reason and engineering.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's 13. 12 and 12.
12 and 12.
Pretty good. It's 2 successes.
And 10.
And 10. Yeah, equal. So yeah, okay. So you got 3 successes on that. Yeah.
Whoa, we're back on course.
Yeah, back on track. You so the focus scan reveals what looks to be some kind of disruptor damage along the side. You would
detect type.
With the roll you got with the 2 successes, I will say you are able to recognise it does look, and especially with your specialised knowledge,
yes,
you would recognise this does look to be the result of Klingon disruptor fire.
Yes, and my understanding of Klingons, they do like a little battle every now and again. So this is kind of
this side of the neutral zone, though, is something fishy is up.
Yeah.
If they want a battle, we'll give them one. Isn't that right, Captain?
Calm down, Commander. We will defend the neutral zone, but we haven't got any answers just yet. I will lead a party over there, and we will find out what's up over there on the transport. Esno, come with me.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. So he leaves you in command, and you also on the bridge, Dr. Rocher. So heading down to the another ensign comes in, takes your place at the helm. You know, the unnamed ones that always step in whenever a main character steps out of frame.
Don't mess up my seat. I've got it just how
you got it reclined properly and everything. Yeah.
I've also got some snacks under the seat. Don't touch that.
Don't touch my.
I've only been here a while, but I've stocked up.
Jelly beans.
Space Raiders.
Yeah, Space Raiders.
Okay, so we're going to split into 2 separate scenes here then, really. So let's follow first then the captain and Esno. You head down to the transporter room. You are met by a security officer who you recognise from your orientation as Security Officer Kappa.
Kappa, how do?
He just kind of nods at you. He's like, Ensign.
Your name? What was your name?
Your name. He's also an ensign. He's Ensign Kappa.
Kappa.
Yeah, security
He's
officer.
got poppers with that,
It's spelled more like Capper, but yeah,
like
it's sort of
Robert Kappa. So he's taking pictures of you all the time.
yeah. Rather than like he's not like full on hanging out at a shopping centre. Yeah. I mean, you don't know what he does in his off time, but possibly.
Well, he's in uniform.
He's in, yeah.
You see out the sweatpants.
Well, now that we're not on the first movie era, it's less of the onesie sort of suit. Yeah. So the 3 of you step onto the transporter pad.
Mm-hmm.
The captain hands you a small hand phaser, which you've already got in your equipment. Says, be prepared, Ensign. We don't know what we're going to find over there.
On it.
Okay, so the 3 of you beam over. Going back to the bridge, the data is fed to the 2 of you. You realise you see the away team beam over. It's all a little bit tense on the bridge there. This is an odd situation.
Nice to see the captain out from behind his comfy desk, Ferrero?
Oh, he's a very brave man.
Why did you get your tongue out of his arse,
Because I have an eye on my career, unlike you. You should be happy with second base, but I want the top chair.
Remember your place, Ferrero. I'm still your first officer.
Yeah.
Or what did you just say? For now.
Yeah.
I think we need to keep a very careful watch out. The Klingon ship may be in the area. Should we keep our shields up?
That's up to you.
What do you think?
Yeah, sure.
If the shields are up, you can't transport through them.
I know, but we've given up on that already.
Can you not transport back if we've got the shields up?
No.
Shields up.
No. Hang on a second. Like, maybe we just keep we're on yellow alert, aren't we, at the moment?
Going to yellow alert?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ferrero,
high
the
state of
captain
readiness.
never comes back. I become captain. Shields up.
Okay, the shields go up. Probably, not a bad decision, considering, there's been an attack and that you're being prepared. I'm not entirely sure your motivations behind doing it are that noble, but we'll see how this goes.
I'm sure Starfleet will look upon my actions as the kind of actions a true captain would make.
Letting his superior officer die so he could advance into his chair.
Save the rest.
But I'm really worried about Esno. That's we've got nobody to fly the ship.
He doesn't even make a cup of coffee.
Over in the communications station, she doesn't say anything, but Lieutenant Soreg just raises an eyebrow, kind of in a Vulcan way. You know how I'm talking about.
Yeah,
She got that Spock eyebrow going.
She's got the
Yeah.
Lieutenant, you're just jealous you're not making the coffees anymore.
She says, "Yes, Commander. I find it most disagreeable to be able to do the job that I trained to do."
It's not that out of you.
I like to think that your character also popped open a bottle of water at that point and just drank it.
I've just got a bottle holder.
Like, all you need to do to
my,
do the trifecta of like a kind of an arsehole is just bite into an apple at this point. Okay, so let's cut back over to Esno, the captain, and Ensign Kappa. You rematerialise on board the transport, and it's immediately apparent that there's been some kind of fighting going on here. The lighting is flickery, and emergency lighting is on. Sparks are still flying from a couple of the panels on the wall, but there's no immediate sounds of any people or anything. It does seem sort of, other than the damage sounds, it sounds eerily quiet.
I've seen this in a movie, Captain, and it never ends well.
A movie, eh? Well, perhaps you can recommend me a couple.
When we get back.
I'm more
That's
of
my
a.
promise to you.
Thank you. I'm more of a comedy man myself.
Oh well, this is pretty funny as well.
The classics. But best to keep.
Dumb and Dumber 7.
When Harry cloned Lloyd. What a classic. Says, but we better keep our wits about ourselves. He leads the way down the corridor. You guys have kind of beamed into sort of a main area, but not on the bridge. Are you sort of sneaking along, or how are you kind of thinking of moving around?
Yeah, kind of quite stealthily and keeping an eye out.
Stealthily, yeah.
I think me and Kappa are kind of flanking the captain, I think.
Mm-hmm. Weapons drawn?
Weapons drawn.
Yeah. Alright, okay. Can I get I guess this would be control security, because you're doing a sort of, control is you kind of keeping control of yourself, you're trying not to make a lot of noise, and security is because you're sort of trying to be stealthy and get around, and that's my thinking of that. I'll roll for Kappa as well.
Control 7, security 4. So 11 and 7 and 1.
7 and 1? Yeah, so you got the 1, so that's a critical. So you got 3 successes on that, so that's pretty good. So yeah, you're stealthy as all heck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna roll for Kappa, who is a security officer. He may or may not completely screw this up. Although he did fail on the 1 dice. But he got the 1 success. So he's not quite as stealthy as you are, but he's not terrible. He's not like he's stepping in buckets or anything like that.
Baby steps, Kappa. Come on.
The captain as well. I got is at least as stealthy as you, so that's pretty good. So making your way down the corridor, the door to the bridge looks to be halfway open. It's sort of slid partway into the wall, and it's sort of there's a gap there. It's not fully open. You can see through though into the bridge. Completely deserted still, from what you can see. A sort of cursory look through the door does reveal what looks to be some kind of small weapon damage on the consoles and that you can see, but obviously to get through the door you're going to have to force your way through.
Okay. Yeah, Esno does what it takes to get in there. Is that a case of just crawling in?
It's up to you. How are you going to try and get through? The door, there's a gap of about a foot.
Okay, I want to run up to it and Indiana Jones slide my ass through that thing.
Okay, well it's open sideways rather than up.
Okay, I slam into the wall and back up again. Diving headfirst through.
Headfirst through, just in the small gap?
Through.
Yeah, okay. Make a... Ooh, what would this be? Again, kind of fitness security, I guess.
Okay. 13. 3. Sounds good. And 18.
Okay.
Bad.
So, not You make it through, but you sort of scrape your arm a little bit, and it's, you tear your uniform trying to get through on a particularly sharp bit of. Not like a full-on like shoulder out and everything, but like there's a tear on the arm of your.
I slowly tug
jacket
it to make it a bit worse.
Yeah, you're like, this is it. This is my chance.
Draw blood.
Yeah. You find yourself on the bridge now. The captain and Kappa follow you through. The place again appears to be deserted. Let's cut back to the other two. Again, it's kind of you're finding it odd still that it's a little sort of eerily quiet. It was a pretty quick response time from you guys to getting here. Are you staying in communication contact with the away team as they're there?
Communication channels are constantly open.
Yeah.
Is there any interference with the line?
No, there doesn't appear to be. You can sort of hear.
Well, we've got a lock on you with transporters. The moment we see anything up, we're going to beam you back. We'll have to drop the shield to do that. But
Well, keep an eye out. We don't want to be trapped over here.
Let's keep those shields up for now.
Okay. At this stage, there is a little bit of a weird kind of beeping starts coming from your sensor station. Can I get a reason science check?
I can do that one.
So run
check that out.
Yeah, and somebody want to roll for the ship as well.
Okay.
Just as again under 10 for a census check.
McCarthy. So we've got. I've got. Well, a combined score of about 16. So
Don't combine them.
Yeah,
It's
I've got my score at 16.
Oh right, okay.
It's 12 and 20. I'm terrible.
So many 20s being rolled.
I've got 14.
We've got 2 out of 3 though.
So the ship's helping doesn't really help. Basically, with the ship, it's like you get an extra dice to roll because you're using the ship systems. Essentially, you do just about the ship. You turn around to look at your screen just in time to notice what seems to be some kind of a little bit of a weird kind of sensor echo, but you can't narrow down exactly where it is. You can't pinpoint a direction or a distance or anything. It just the sensors for a second there seem to pick up something.
Yeah, I think we might be tracking a cloaked ship, a cloaked vessel of some sort. What do you think we should do?
What can we do, Ferrero?
We just need to keep an eye on it, make sure our torpedo bays are loaded and ready, and phaser banks charged to full in case we need to get into any scrapes.
Sounds good. Can you do all that?
Well, you can keep the sensors up, and that there's other crewmen are on the other stations at the moment. But yes,
Okay.
we can. The crew can handle that, I think.
Delegate. Do it yourselves.
I mean, they've all already got their jobs. They're all at their stations, but
Excellent. You know what you're doing.
They know
This is what you trained for.
They just need to know their job, unlike you, sir.
It's a little bit of back talk going on, but I like it.
Ferrero, I'll write you up in a
Do you want me to show you how to do that?
I like the dynamic. It's really just like you're constantly threatening each
2
other.
points to Gryffindor.
That's what you do, right?
Okay, so cutting back again. We're cutting back. This is some fast editing on this scene, I guess. On the bridge, none of the consoles are functioning. None of the command consoles are functioning, but you are able to sort of get a couple of them working. And Ensign Kappa brings up a crew manifest, and this ship was supposed to have 20 crew members aboard. No sign of anyone as far as you can see. The internal sensors aren't working, however. So
we've got no way of seeing where anyone is.
No.
Captain, where would you put the crew in an emergency on a ship like this?
Well, I wouldn't abandon my bridge unless it was absolutely necessary. So this is already a little odd.
So it's saying
But
it looks
they are-
bad.
It looks... well, you saw how the ship was drifting when we arrived, so this is a little bad. Did you say they were already under attack when we received the distress call from them?
Yeah, I think it was just going down.
Just going down.
Because he seemed to have, from what we could see, there was already damage behind him from what we could see on the screen. So yeah, I think they were in the middle of it or towards the end. Of whatever happened. So,
this happened very quickly then. This is strange. You know, the speed that we got here, you'd think there would be somebody here still, if not a wounded or a dead body.
yeah, there's no bodies at all.
Not as far as you can see in the room or anything. and you didn't see any in the corridor area. It's not a big ship. There's only really a couple of decks and then a main kind of cargo hold area. There's an engineering section at the back, but it's not like, I mean, you're kind of used to, I mean, you're new, but you've gotten used to the Aristotle, which is a Constitution class, same as the Enterprise. So it's, there's many decks, many, this isn't like that at all. It's a small ship compared to what you're used to. There's not as many places that people could be in.
Kappa, should we head down to the cargo bay and see what's there? See what they're hauling?
Okay.
That's where you came from, wasn't it? That's where you beamed in.
You kind of beamed into a corridor, sort of just sort of rear of the main bridge, kind of a larger sort of common area. That's, I mean, actually, you could probably it kind of looks a bit more like a kind of mess area sort of thing.
Ship's logs. Maybe there's anything swinging there. Maybe like an abandoned ship.
Kappa, what have you got else on that screen? Anything good?
Well, there's plenty of stuff here for me to we could to go through. This could take some time, but
Can you check the most recent log?
Sure. He, I'm again making checks all over the place here, but might as well, because otherwise, why even bother with the dice? Yeah, he's able to bring up the latest log. Just it takes 30 seconds or so to watch through it. It doesn't appear to be relevant. There's no kind of, oh my god, we're under attack, this is my final will and testament sort of thing.
It's no like, they are coming.
No. It's not like nothing like that. It does appear to be kind of just a sort of fairly routine sort of, we stopped off at this planet, we picked up a load of foodstuffs and
services.
Yeah, we pulled in Exeter services and
got ginsters.
Stopped off. Yeah,
Space ginsters.
Yeah, it seems to be a fairly routine log, and a couple of minutes later, he's able to bring up a itinerary, and it does appear that they were just kind of on their usual route. I mean, it's quite a close route to the edge of the neutral zone anyway, but still, you're on the Federation side of it. You're not in the neutral zone. This shouldn't have been too dangerous for them. So it's a little odd.
Shady shenanigans. I think whatever happened here happened fast and moved on, or either they're still just out there. Can we get a message back to the Aristotle to say?
Yeah. Communication channels seem to be.
Yeah.
No
Hello,
problems with them.
Aristotle?
This is Fred Roche speaking.
Roche, good man. So there's not a whole lot going on here, and by that I mean it could be a lot going on here. It's one or the other.
Sounds like an ancient Earth movie. Sphere.
We got a sphere situation here.
It's a full-on sphere happening, people.
We suspect Klingon shenanigans here. Is there any other scans or checks you can do?
Well, we're detecting something very odd out here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're being cautious. The shields are up, but we can take them down to get you out of there. Is there anything else we can do to wrap up?
I don't know. I think we can check around the ship a little bit longer.
The captain chimes in at this point and says, keep the shields up for now. We don't want to lose the Aristotle just because we were being cautious about our lives.
Oh, don't worry, Captain. They're staying up.
That's a little morbid there, a little creepy, a little ominous
Is
there.
there space enough for the to use the tractor beam to bring the ship into our cargo bay? Or is it too big?
It's too big for your cargo bay, definitely, but you could tow it.
Yes. Where's the nearest star base?
A couple of light years away. It would take some time.
Yeah.
Tow it, Ferreira. What are we, the AA?
Andorian Armada.
Well, Captain, we haven't renewed our green flag policy. So
What about this cloaked ship? That's what I'm worrying about.
as if it is a cloak ship.
Well, you said it was a cloaked ship, didn't you, Ferrero?
I said that it may be a cloak ship.
Ferrero, make a decision for once in your life, man.
Ferry Rocher goes to the station and Googles like how he can commit a certain member of the crew.
You can call down to the doctor if you like.
Well, I am kind of the doctor, aren't I?
Well, sort of, yeah.
Well,
But you're more kind of a
sound
science officer. Yeah. I mean, every ship.
You're not the only one who can watch ancient Earth movies, Ferrero. Sounds like you're trying to pull a Crimson Tide on me.
Can I grab Kappa and go check out engineering? That's the other area.
Sure. Yeah. The captain gives you his. He says, "Stay in contact. I'm going to check out the captain's ready
Will
room."
do.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. 'Cause you can definitely cover more ground. Split it up.
Hey, I ain't that stupid. The captain's coming with me.
Yeah.
Captain stays.
Yeah. The captain, he goes off into what looks to be the kind of captain's room and says, stay in contact.
Will do.
Okay, right. At this point, you, Commander Rocher, you get another sign of this sensor echo on your sensors, on your screen. Would you like to try and narrow it down at all?
Yes, I would like to try and narrow it down.
Okay, so
I'm going to be combining.
this would be, I guess, control.
Yeah.
I don't know. Actually, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. This might be because reason science would be more of it was like an engineering or science problem kind of thing.
Yeah.
Control, because you're kind of really trying to work the system.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think control science. Let's go to control science.
Okay, so I've got to beat a 14.
14. Yeah.
Okay. 3.
Pretty good.
3.
Pretty good. Okay. Do you want to go for the third
Yeah.
one? This is a difficulty
5.
Difficulty 5. Cool. Yeah. So that's 3 successes. This was going to be a difficulty 3 check. I should be at this point. That's one thing I forgot to do. I should be telling you the difficulty of the checks before we.
Now.
No, it was a difficulty 3 check. So you've just hit the amount that you needed to pass it.
Yeah.
You gain momentum if you have more successes than you needed. This is, I forgot to do it earlier with the earlier ones. I should be telling you the difficulty of the check every time you make it.
Right.
So, but that was difficulty 3 check, and you passed it. You are able to narrow down that the echo seems to be moving in kind of a sort of circling pattern around the Aristotle and the Pelican are quite close to each other. You've kind of come alongside. It does appear to be sort of circling round in kind of like a loop around the two of you, off to the ship's kind of I guess like you're kind of, it's currently at kind of your 10 o'clock if you're looking forward, sort of thing. So again, it's not enough to lock on, but you're able to kind of get a direction at least.
Are we able to kind of broadcast a message out?
You can broadcast in the clear if you like.
Yeah. Do you think we should just sort of bluff and say that we've got unidentified vessel, we see you on our screens, you need to speak up?
Yeah.
Sounds like a good idea
I
to
think we
me.
call it bluff.
Just
It's a classic,
being like, knock it
I think
off,
they enjoy
yeah.
that, Garfield.
Yes. For once in your life, you're right, Ferreira. Let's do that.
Okay, Lieutenant Sorek opens a channel, presuming that's what you're doing.
Yes.
Yes. She gives you a slight head turn nod to say that the channel is open.
Okay.
Greetings from the USS Aristotle. We can detect you on our sensors. Identify yourself or face the consequences.
This will be a presence command check. This is going to be again a difficulty 3, I think.
So I grab 2 dice.
2 dice. I don't know. This isn't really anything.
The ship can help with, I think.
The ship doesn't really. It's got communication, so I guess you can add communications command to it. So someone else roll the other one, and you got to get below an 11.
Okay. You get below an 11.
Yeah.
3.
I've got a 15, and is that a 9 or a 6?
Oh yeah. That's a 9. This isn't a very good dice, is it?
Okay.
You can't see anything. I'll take this out of the pool because it's yeah.
Okay.
So
what
so
was
a
our
9 and a
target?
15. This was a command. This was a presence command.
Presence command, so that's a 15 altogether. So
Okay, yeah, you just 15, 3, and a 9. So okay, there's a moment of pause, and an audio-only transmission comes through. Voice is tough to identify, although it's obviously doesn't sound friendly. Voice comes through and goes,
Federation Patak. The days of the Klingon Empire being held back by your neutral zone are over. Kincha.
I don't like the sound of what you're saying.
My words were not meant to be pleasing, honorless scum.
Are you starting on us?
do you want to take this outside?
Into the cold. Nothingness.
Man on man, sword on sword, in space. No.
Yeah.
At this point, Commander Rocher, your sensor panel suddenly lights up with the signal of a decloaking Klingon bird of prey along the starboard bow. Yeah. It appears to be bearing down on you, and it does seem to be, it's at kind of combat speed. It's not kind of just hanging there. Okay, so this is...
Why is no one moving?
I'm down here.
So, okay, this is... we're going to enter a combat situation here, so this is a little different.
I didn't even get a chance to be diplomatic.
You're a friend of mine.
You killed us all.
This is no time for diplomacy, Ferrara.
Okay, so this is a tricky situation because you've got the unshielded ship in front of you with your captain on it and two of your other crew members.
Acceptable losses in a war situation.
It's a bit harsh, but...
Brothers we're talking about.
Okay, so Star Trek Avengers is a little bit different to, say, D&D. In D&D, you'd be rolling initiative to see who goes first. Star Trek Adventures, it's kind of a little bit more free-form. You guys have got... The enemy don't have a compelling reason to go first, because you guys have seen them there. They haven't caught you by surprise. But the way it kind of goes is we kind of go turn by turn. So, like, one of you would go first, then the Klingons would get a go. If you don't spend any momentum to keep the initiative, it's sort of, you'd get a go, then the Klingons can get a go, then you'll get a go, and then the Klingons can get a go. If you've got momentum, you can spend it to hang on to the initiative, so you'd have a go, then someone else on your team would have a go. But as you haven't got any momentum at this point, we'll get to that sort of thing. But yeah, so which one of you would like to act first, then, in this situation?
I will act first.
You will act first.
I always act
Okay. In any combat situation, you can make what's called a major action and a minor action. Minor actions are generally kind of, if it was like a hand-to-hand combat situation, it would be like readying your weapon or aiming or something like that. In a space situation, because you've all got your own stations, you've all got different things you can do. Obviously, you're not on the ship at the moment, so that's going to come in. Okay, so as the commanding officer, you can basically, your responsibility in space combat is to give orders. There's a few different things you can do as tasks.
That's what I'm good at.
Yeah. At this point, the two that are going to be most effective are directing the other people on the bridge to do things, and sort of attempting to sort of inspire. You can generate momentum that way by kind of basically getting everybody sort of like kind of riled up to be like, let's do this sort of thing. So it's kind of up to you. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's rash a wrong for everybody.
Be out of that airlock so quick.
So yeah, you can kind of
Freeze walk, the tyrant.
You can sort of direct what the Aristotle is doing. You're in the chair, sort of thing at this point. As I say, you can kind of do your rallying thing, or you can give an order to somebody, and they'll carry it out when it comes back to them, sort of thing.
Okay.
So
do I need to roll some dice, or?
Depends. What are you doing?
Can we fire on the ship yet?
You can give the order to fire on the ship, and then when it comes around to the tactical officer, they'll fire. It's not like we can fire every time it comes to you. It's more sort of, you are actually, because you're just playing your character rather than the ship.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
You could spend your time giving orders like specifically what you wanted, like the sensors officer or the tactical officer to do. So I'm guessing you're on the sensors as the science station kind of thing. As I said, the other thing you can do is kind of rallying, so you're kind of inspiring. The description on this is the commanding officer inspires and coordinates the crew, and you attempt a presence plus command task with difficulty of 0 to generate momentum. So that might be helpful, because then you can kind of keep the initiative later, like when it comes to the people who are firing and that.
Right. Okay.
Being in the chair, it's more of a kind of directing and kind of like inspiring thing, rather than you're the guy who's firing the weapons and that kind of stuff. Yeah, and then when it comes around to them, you're sort of, because at the moment on the bridge, only Paul is the other player on the. Everyone else on there is kind of me being the other people.
Who would do the job of locking on?
I think that just kind of comes around to tactical. So they could kind of just lock on and fire.
So I can just throw orders out at people left, right, and centre.
Yeah. It's that you don't have to lock on separately by the looks of things. So yeah, you could give the order to fire on your turn. I mean, we can keep it as far. It doesn't need to be like how we're going to spend 5 minutes per turn. We could literally just be like, I spend my turn giving the order to fire, then we'll throw it back to them, then we'll,
I think let's get it going. I reckon.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're in a warlike situation. Lock on and fire.
Very well. Okay, so at this point we go back because we go back and forth between one of you and the Klingons, back and forth. The Klingons, I'm going to say, at this point they're still a little bit at range, so they're going to spend their turn flying in closer. We don't need to sort of be too rigid about who's going, so long as every crew member gets a go before we go back to you. So would you like, Paul, would you like to have a go, or would you like the tactical officer to have a go first as you ordered fire?
I think...
There's a few things you can do.
Yeah, if you read a couple of options for me.
Yeah, if you're in sensor operations, we'll say that's probably about right, because that's what you've been doing.
Yeah.
You've got a few more things you can do compared to sitting in the command chair. You can do a sensor sweep, which is just kind of a general sort of looking for stuff around the ship that's going on.
Yeah.
You can scan for weaknesses on a specific vessel, which seems very useful. The other thing you can do is launch a probe, which again may not be a huge help in this particular situation.
I think I want to do a sensor sweep with a different vessel.
Scan for weaknesses?
Scan for weaknesses.
Okay, so this is a difficulty of 1, and this would be a control plus science.
Plus science, so I've got a 14 on that.
That's not bad, and it can be assisted by the ship's sensors plus security. So,
okay, 5, 12.
Okay, so that's 2 successes. 11, so sensors plus security. It's an 11 on the ship, sensors and security. So that's 3 successes.
Yes.
So it's a difficulty 1, so you gain 2 momentum for the group to spend. Okay, so scanning for weaknesses. So our next attack before the end of your next turn gains a piercing quality, ignoring some of the target's damage resistance. That's pretty good. You get a little bonus for the ship's next attack. It does roll onto the Klingons now.
What kind of Klingon ship is it?
It is. It's one of the smaller bird of prey types.
Okay. As seen in
Voyage Home.
Oh.
That kind of yeah. So the Klingons are going to attempt to fire on you. This is a difficulty 2. They're firing with their disruptors. This is a 20.
Yes.
So one of them is a 10, so that's they miss essentially, and they do have a complication which you don't know at this point. Essentially, that's just for pure openness for our listeners' sake. I rolled a 20 and a 10,
Ooh.
So interesting. But they missed the ship. So now going back to the tactical officer. They're able to fire back, so I'm going to... Well, I don't know. Should we say one of you can roll it in lieu rather than have me be just sitting here rolling dice? You can pretend you're the tactical officer.
So what's the
this would be
officer?
Well, I rolled one up for Ensign Kappa, but we'll use the same stats. Your tactical officer is Ensign Ritter. So this would be a...
Problem child.
Yeah. Control and security, and you've got to get below a 13.
We are 12.
And second one. 4. Okay, so yeah, that's a hit. Assisted by structure and engineering on the ship, so...
Okay. A 3?
Yeah, that's definitely... Cool, okay, so that is a hit with phasers. I'm assuming you're firing phasers.
Yeah, why not?
He gave the order. Are you...
Is phasers the most effective weapons we've got in our arsenal?
With the enemy shields up, probably, yeah. Okay, so you've got a hit with your phasers. Now, the phasers on this ship, you've just gone through a refit. They're quite souped up. So you do quite a lot of... you've got quite a lot of potential for damage on this. Now, the way damage is calculated in Star Trek Adventures is we roll multiple 6-sided dice. I've got a lot of them on the table there. you've got a 1 in 3 chance of doing 0 damage on those. You do damage on a 1, 2, 5 and 6, and 5 and 6 activate what's called an effect, which is a quality that's applied to the phases thing, which will, if you roll any 5s or 6s, we'll get to that sort of thing. But otherwise than that, 1s and 2s are worth 1s and 2s, 5 and 6s are each worth 1 each when it comes to damage. So I know that's quite a lot of complication, but we'll get to that.
So you take 3 dice.
With this, because your phase is quite suited up, you're actually rolling 8 of those.
You're rolling 8 of these dice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got 2.
6. Okay, I've got 6.
Okay, so discarding 3s and 4s, we're only discarding 1, so
And 4 here.
that's a 4 there.
And there.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 of them don't do any damage. So we've got 2s and 2 2s, 2 5s, and a 6. Okay, so let's just work out the numbers first. So you've got 2, 4, and these ones are worth 1 each, but they do activate the effect on the phases, which is, according to this, is versatile. Versatile gives bonus damage. You've got versatile 2 on those phases, so each one of those, instead of just counting for 1, is counting for 3. So 2, 4, 7, 10, 13. That's a lot of damage. Okay, so the type of bird of prey has a shield of 9, resistance of 3. So the way we calculate damage is the amount that they sustained is immediately take off their resistance value. So 13, so that's 3 gone already. 10 left. They only have a 9 shield, so you immediately take out all their shields. The ship, as it's going to suffer now what's called breaches. So this is a pretty good hit. You guys rolled pretty high on this damage, to be honest.
1 hit.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so they suffer 1 breach from
Good shooting.
receiving 5 or more damage in one go. So you did that twice technically, because that's 10 left. So that's 2 breaches there. And the ship is reduced to 0 shields, so it suffers the 3rd breach. Now this could be interesting here. So you've basically disabled the ship in that first volley. It's pretty good, because there's a thing here for rolling to see. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so roll 3. We got 3 breaches, so roll 3 of the 20-sided dice, and we'll figure out which systems you guys hit and took out as you go.
I'm imagining the sides blowing open and Klingons being sucked out there.
Which one did you roll?
The white one.
So
That's a 9.
Old white.
18 and a 4.
4. Okay, so in your blasting phaser volley, taking these phasers out for a test drive on their first go, you have caused breaches on their engines, their sensors, and their weapons. So as we bring this first chapter to a close, the Aristotle remains undamaged, but careening towards you through space, completely out of control, atmosphere and debris venting from a series of breaches along its hull, the Klingon bird of prey. What happens next is up to you guys. Okay, that's about going to do it for this episode. We hope you've enjoyed it. Be sure to tune in next time to see what happens next for the crew of the USS Aristotle. Don't forget to go check out the Spocklight podcast. You can find them on iTunes, Podbean, or wherever you find your podcasts. You can also find the guys on social media, so go ahead and follow them on Twitter at SpocklightPod. Liam is at Liam H. Dempsey, Matt is MattBrothers2, and Paul is GrooveDoctor85. You can also find Spocklight on Facebook and Instagram. We always want to hear your thoughts, comments and questions about this show, and you can get in contact with us on Twitter and Facebook, both of which we are at PretendWithDice. You can also email us directly at pretendingwithdice@outlook.com. If you're listening to us on iTunes, please rate and review us as well. It really helps us to find new listeners, and we really just want to hear what your guys' opinions are about the whole thing. Are we doing a good job? Is it interesting? Are you sick of the sound of my voice yet? So once again, thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next time.